All right, this is a $359 EV charger. Is it any good? This is the Iyilo 48 amp plug-in EV charger. It has a lot of advanced features, including a temperature sensor to make sure nothing crazy happens when you're charging. I'm gonna plug this up in my garage, unbox it, and give you some impressions using it on a Tesla Model 3. Let's go. Okay, so here we are with the Iyilo home electric vehicle charging station, app powered, and a bunch of sensors on it. This charger here is 48 amps. It's a level 2 charger. It has the NEMA 14 to 50 wall mounted plug-in. So this is not going to be hardwired. This specific one I got is going to be plugged in to an outlet that I have ran in my garage. So I'm told this is a 48 amp charger, but it has a max current of 40 amps. It has next gen NTC sensors, so it provides real-time temperature monitoring, which is supposed to help if you get some surge or something bad is happening. You plug and charge. It has scheduled charging, data export, multifamily account, time of use statistics, and power sharing with 2 chargers. So it won't overload, I guess, if you plug in 2 chargers. It has dynamic load balancing. And again, this is a plug-in one. They claim it's going to be 7 times faster charging with 4 modes of charging. So I'm hoping I can kind of control, because I may not use this at all 40 amps to charge. I might go a little bit slower, and I think I can control it with that. I mean, out of the box, the build quality seems pretty strong. You know, the cable is like super thick that you're going to be plugging into. And it has that NTC, the negative temperature coefficient monitor. So it's going to provide a lot of safety because it's going to monitor the heat and regulate power to prevent overheating. So allegedly, there's that NTC sensor in here, and if it gets too hot, it cuts everything off. Now, I imagine hot has to be hotter than what it would get in the sun outside, and, you know, an electrical issue coming from the car or something to cut it all off. But that's a really good safety measure. That makes it super safe to hopefully prevent any combustion happening if it could happen. So this guy's $359, Iyilo 48 amp, and it comes with a 3-year warranty. It's cheaper than the name brand chargers I've had, and the build quality seems pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and show you my install. We'll mount it, and then we'll plug it into the car and maybe test some of the features. Now, this is my electrical setup. This is a 60 amp panel. This is a totally separate panel that's 60 amps as well. They're not connected, totally separate, being ran from the house. On this 60 amp panel, I have a 50 amp breaker that is powering this guy. So that is the 50 amp outlet that I have. You can see this is a dedicated little EV charging outlet, because remember, these need continuous power. So it's not using like a outlet you would use on a dryer. This is from the supply house. It's built specifically for EV charging. It runs down directly into the 60 amp panel, running 50 amp. Max pull of this device is 40 amp, and I'll probably configure it to pull even less than that when it's all said and done in the app. So I'm not going to show you how to do all the electrical work, because I did not do all of that myself. I had a buddy of mine that is an electrician do most of that work. I would recommend you have a pro do it if you are not a pro yourself. This is the Iyilo residential EV charger. This is the 48 amp unit plug in. So I'm going to want to remove the bracket on the back of the device, position it with the guide they give, drill the holes, select the screws I want to use, and then mount the bracket, and then you hang it and clip it back on it. So when they say remove the back, screws you actually want to unscrew are Allen screws. They give you an Allen wrench, and it's these guys here on the left and right. So then when those screws are undone, this will lift off. So you're gonna basically mount this in your mounting position, lay it on, and then screw it on the side to secure it. You can use these guys to do your screw holes. Now for me, I'm gonna be able to just put this on the wood and screw right in because I anchored wood that I'm going into. So take the hardware that you use. I'm gonna be using these because I'm going right into the wood, put my washer over it, and then I'm gonna feed it through the plate like so and mount it. They also give you bigger anchors like this, which I guess could be used for like cinder block or something, it looks like. I don't know. I don't need these though. So I'm going to take my charger now. I have the charging cable on the ground just because I don't want to have the weight of that up here. So kind of put it in at a tilt so you can see it and then slide it over, and this bottom one is going to actually be screwed on, so it's not going to go anywhere. So then you're going to want to take those bottom Allen screws that you had when you release the plate. You have to push that back a little bit. You'll see the hole though, and then you're going to want to tighten that back on. So you're gonna want to do that on both sides. So that keeps it from lifting back off effectively. So one on the left, one on the right. All right, it is nice and secure. Looks pretty nice. Depending on the install, you can really jazz this up. I mean, you could put a better back plate. This is a garage, unfinished. I'm fine with the wood like that. And then what I'm gonna do is, I have this breaker off right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and run this up there, plug it in. I do have the breaker off, and I'm gonna go ahead and just take my cable, and allegedly you just drape the cable over the device like that. Now it's important to note on this charger, there's a rotary switch inside. You can actually adjust the maximum amperage that it will output. So by default, the plug-in is set to 40 amps, but if this was hardwired, it could be to 48 amps. And you could switch it to position 1, which would mean the maximum charging is 32 amps. So you do have the ability to charge that a bit within this actual switch. They go on to say, unless you plan to switch between plug-in and hardwired, which I'm not, I'm always using plug-in, there's no need to lower the current due to circuit breaker limitations. No adjustment is needed. So this I'm keeping as it comes, 40 amps plugged in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and supply power to the device. I hear a beep. I see things flashing and lighting and doing stuff. So now I gotta download the app on my phone. All right, so you download the device and you register. And once you do that, you can actually get into adding the device. And it says you're gonna wanna be within 30 feet of the device, which I am, so that's good. I will go ahead and click on Add New Device. I will allow while using the app, and it's searching for devices. Choose your device, so it looks like it found it. So now it's connecting to the device. It says connected, fetching Wi-Fi. So I'm going to log into the Wi-Fi, select the appropriate access point. So it is provisioning the charger at this point with the Wi-Fi details I gave. I see the Wi-Fi icon on the charger flashing. And it looks like it's doing its thing here. It says it's available. It says it's 51 degrees Fahrenheit at the plug. The connector temp is 49 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is super cool because you can control, this is exactly what I wanted to do, be able to control exactly how much power that I'm going to be using current-wise. Because I'm going to want to tone down my other EV charger and this charger just so I'm not pulling too much. But I could go all the way up to 40 amps if I wanted to. Let's see what else this app can do. It gives me different stats. So how I'm charging, I have a schedule. So you could set a schedule so you could sync that to say only charge during this time, which is really good because it saves you money. So please plug in is what it's telling me. Now, I don't know what these RFID cards are for yet. My gut is I'm going to have to scan it or something when I charge. Is that really going to be the... So let's go ahead and charge this and see how it goes. On this Tesla, I am going to need the little adapter that comes with it. So it goes on this guy, like so. So it plugs into the Tesla. This came with my Tesla, so I haven't had to buy it. But by default, it won't plug in without this adapter. And then I plug in. And then let's see if there's anything on the app that I need to do. It says suspended EV. So what does that mean? So I figured out what suspended EV means. On the Tesla app, we had it set where it wouldn't charge during a specific time period, so I just overrode that on the app. As soon as I did that, I got green lights up here. This thing is charging, and it says it is in fact charging right now. So it's cranking in the Tesla app. And then if I go to the charging app, it says it's charging. It's giving me some details. It's been charging for 3 minutes. It's not giving me an estimated cost because I didn't input that data in. It's going at 233 volts at 7.56 power, 7.56 kilowatts at 32.36 amps. So of the 40 amps I have it set to, it's pulling 32 amps to charge. I could end charging here, or I can start looking at stats. What I'm gonna do is let this charge for a little bit, and then we'll come out and look at the data. Now, it's important to note, I did not configure these RFID cards, and in fact, I'm not gonna use them. I have no need for them. Also, when you plug it in, as long as your vehicle doesn't have an override like I had initially, it's gonna start charging. So you don't have to go to the charger and tap your phone. You don't have to do any of that. It's just gonna function. If you set these up, you would have to go up to the device and tap it in order to do it. Again, I want it to be plug and play. I have it configured right now to pull the amperage I want. We're gonna let this charge. I'll show you some information in about an hour or so. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half, and it's added, let's triple check before I tell you. It's added a fair amount. It's added about 62 miles of driving to this. So I was at like 190, and now I'm at like 253 miles now. So it's actually nearly fully charged, because that full charge, I think, if I recall correctly, this only gets about 260 to 290. This is not the dual motor one or dual battery one. It's a low mileage one. I don't know a lot about the Model 3. But in any event, it is done charging, so I can actually hang this guy up and be done with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the charge. So I don't even know how to do it. You gotta unlock the port over here because it locks the charging port. So unlock charge port, yank it out. Again, this was the adapter I was using because it comes with this one. This is the Tesla adapter. I need to probably pick up another one and just keep on this handle. But before I go any farther, let's take a closer look at the device and look at some of the stats. So aesthetically, it's a pretty nice device. You know, I always get annoyed with all of the charging cable messes that exist with EVs, but what can you do? I guess Porsche has that wireless charging, right, where you park on a mat, but you know, it's a pretty clean install, relatively speaking. You got your cables here, it's hanging, doesn't look too bad. It's black, it's all weather. I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now, what I am gonna do, because remember, I have 2 chargers hooked up. I do not want potentially to have, we don't even have 2 EVs, so it's impossible for both of these to run, but I'm gonna actually crank this down just to 20 amps. So if somehow or another 2 EVs are plugged in, this isn't gonna draw more than what the breaker is for. And then again, this is, you know, the Wi-Fi is connected, you know it's ready to charge, and this is where you scan your card if you were using that. So if you're at a building where people could just plug in, you can make it where you have to scan something to plug in. I'll probably get this same charger actually up for my building and keep it outside if that Scout I ordered ever comes in a year or so. Another thing to note is, you know, within this handle, as I mentioned, it has the temperature sensor. If it gets too hot, it cuts off. That's a really good safety mechanism for this. And you can have another one of these hooked up and it would detect it and it will actually charge down and split the voltage so you don't overpower your electrical panel, which is another great little thing. Now, I'm going to show you better reports. I just, you know, not on my phone. I'm going to pop them up after this. But remember, you can go in here, you can go to stats, and you can see here that I use 12.8 kilowatts of energy charging. And you can export this to Excel, and it will give you all kinds of interesting data in here. So over time, you can actually figure out how the charging has worked. I can go back to the charger. I can see that it's available or it's not being used. And then again, you can go to your schedule and schedule when it might charge the actual vehicle. So the question is, do I like this charger? $359, it's like half the price I paid for the Tesla charger I have. It will go up to a true 40 to 48 amps, which is great. I find the app super easy to use. I do like that you can scan a card and that will control if you can use it or not, because everybody's environment's gonna be different. It seems nice and durable. The cable seems solid. This, you know, it seems like it's a quality built device with that advanced functionality like the temperature sensor in here. So if something terrible was to happen, it kills it. It's not gonna keep charging and combust your vehicle or your house or who knows what. So overall, if you're looking for an EV charger, I would recommend these folks. I have a description, promo code in the description where you can get a little bit of a discount. And it's not that hard to hook up, and it's beautiful that it can be plug and play, because if you were to move, you can unplug it and away you go. And if you are installing it yourself, you just got to get that proper receptacle here. And if you have an electrician do it, they do make a hardwired one if you choose to do that. This is Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY, and adventures. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this a bit useful, and let me know if you have one or what you think of this. Have a great day.